Hi everyone, it's Edith from Love and Life, and I'm here in the middle of making apple pie. I have enough apples to make one pie. I didn't plan to make an apple pie. My husband likes mince pie, but he could not find mince. So we're going to have an apple pie. So I've taken and peeled some apples. I have 8 apples here sliced, and I'm going to bring you along to show you how I make my apple pie. It's just a basic delicious apple pie, but the thing that I really want to show you in this video is the pie crust. It's my grandma Slagowski's pie crust that she had when she was growing up. It's basic, it's simple, it's foolproof, it's easy, it never fails, and everyone loves it. It's flaky, and it's just a plain pie crust. I've been making it for 35 plus years, and it's my pie crust. So let's mix the stuff with these apples first. I peeled 8 apples and sliced them and put a little bit of lemon juice in them to help them with their color. I'm going to make a deep pie dish, pie pan, pie. So I used 8 apples, and it calls for 1 cup of sugar. You just stir these in, and 1/3 of a cup of flour. It may have called for cornstarch. Let me look. No, it calls for flour. And then it calls for 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm not a nutmeg fan, so I never put nutmeg in it. I always just put cinnamon in it. I've never ever heard anyone complain. Just a second, I can't. Let me prop you up. I don't know what you can see now, but I can't get the cinnamon out. There we go. I'll add that cinnamon right there. Okay, and I just stir this up. When we get the pie crust ready, what we'll do is we'll just spoon this into the pie crust and put some butter on the top, add a top crust, and it'll be ready to bake. So, all right, let's get started with the pie crust. Okay, for the pie crust, I've put 2 cups of flour in my KitchenAid. Let the KitchenAid do the work if you have a KitchenAid or a mixer. They're so nice. This will make 1 pie. With the deep dish pies, it's a little shy. You can make it work, but you have to really stretch the dough. So, if you want your dough a little thicker, you'll have to make 2 to make a deep dish pie. 1 teaspoon of salt. I just use table salt. And then 3/4 of a cup of Crisco. I buy the sticks because it's easier for me, and things are hard, so I've simplified my life the best I can. I make everything as simple as I can. And then I let my KitchenAid do the work. Just mix that all up. You want to mix that up until the crust or the flour mixture looks kind of crumbly. They say like the size of small peas, but I'm going to scrape down the side. You don't want to over mix this, but you do want to mix it up just until it's crumbly, which I would say that's great. Can you see that? I know my lighting's not very good. It's late at night. It's the size of crumbs, and that's how you want your dough. Can you see that? Or small peas. Okay, then you're going to add 8 tablespoons of ice cold water. I've got my water ready right here. I always just get a container and put some ice in it. And you're going to add exactly 8 tablespoons. So now that ice is going to get in the way. There's 1, 2, I really don't want chunks of ice. 3, 4, 5. We're getting little chunks of ice. 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now this is really important. We're going to mix this just till it comes together. You do not want to overmix this. You want to just mix it just till it comes together and then bring it together the rest of the way on your board. If you overmix this, your pie dough will be tough and it won't be flaky. So let me show you. My mixer, if I put it in between, because I don't want to overmix it, it stops on me. Okay, let me feel this. It feels really good. Going to mix it just a minute more. Now my fingers are all dirty. Okay, I don't want to mix it any more than that. Okay, this is what the dough looks like when you get it finished. I just used my hands and pushed it together, and then not working it very much. You don't want to work it very much, but I just made sure that it was all together, and then I took half the dough, set it on my cutting board so I can roll it out to make this pie. Let me roll this out and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I've rolled my pie dough out. Now this is my dish, and this dish is bigger probably than my pie dough. So when I do this, I kind of have to squish and pull and twist and all of that, but it works out. So this is how I've always done pie. I just fold it over one way, and then take this side and fold it over the other way. Then I bring my dish, put this in the corner of one of the sides, hoping that it'll fit across, which it's not going to. I already know. See how much smaller it is than my pan. So I will have to pull and twist and push and see if I can make it work. So I won't have to do 2 crusts. It has enough room. It's got a little bit of thickness that it has enough room to wiggle and bend. So let me work on this, and then we'll put the actual apples in this pie. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, we got it covered. I just stretched it a little bit along the outside. This pie doesn't have to be perfect or look wonderful. It's for my hubby. He will probably eat the whole thing within the next 3 days. So he loves it. It's the only time he indulges in pie. It's usually mincemeat, but this year he's going to have apple, and he'll be fine with that. He loves apple too. So you just pour the apples in. Now something else that I do with this dough that is against the rules, against all the rules, I never refrigerate it. I make it, I mix it, and then I just use it, and it turns out great. It's just a really good apple pie recipe. I wonder if they used, what they used, well, I know what they used. They used lard in the old days. They really didn't use butter. They didn't have Crisco years and years ago. They did have lard. And I think lard probably makes a better pie than shortening or butter. Another thing that I think is really important also is make sure you buy Crisco. Don't buy Western Family or Kroger, or I live in the West, so I don't know what brands they have at Aldi and some of the markets that are in the East, or the markets at that are overseas where you guys live, but I would buy a really good brand. We always knew that we have to buy Crisco. If you're making pie, you have to have Crisco. So, all right, doesn't that look yummy already? Okay, now I think I'll make the top crust, and then we'll finish this pie up and get it put in the oven. Okay, I got the top finished and put on the pie. We'll need some vents in the top. So, I always try to make a little heart for my hubby. It's a tradition for us. So he knows how much I love him. He's one of my most grateful things for Thanksgiving. And then what I'll do, just go around the edge and take some of this excess crust off. It's hard to do one-handed, and I'll just push natural divots into this that are already there in the dish. There's natural divots. So I'm just going to push on those little divots and let it be. I'm always happy when I get the pies finished. What kind of pies are you guys making for Thanksgiving? What is your favorite? My mother's favorite is homemade banana cream pie. So I will put up another video of how we do that. Make homemade banana cream pie. The crust is the same. And then you just have to do 2 bottom crusts. And then you make the filling for the pie, and I like to wait to put it all together until we're ready to eat it. It tastes better that way and doesn't get the crust soggy, and the bananas don't turn brown. So let me show you how we finish this up. Okay, I got a little bit of milk in a bowl, and I just spread this all across the top of my crust. You just want to make sure you get it just a thin layer across your entire crust, because we're going to sprinkle some sugar on this, and it's going to make the most delectable, crisp, sugary crust that makes the pies taste so delicious, and they look beautiful too. So this is how I do it. Some people use egg, but I like to use milk when I do a pie. I like to use milk. Okay, and let's just sprinkle some sugar over the top of the crust, just a light layer of sugar. I also go against the rules. And probably I've done this for years, and probably the reason I started doing this was because I was young and I would cook everything at 350 in my oven. I just thought 350 was a perfect temperature, and I bake my pies at 350 unless it's a special kind of pie that has to be baked higher for a little while, like well, I think pumpkin is an example, or maybe pecan. I'm not sure. I haven't made a pumpkin or a pecan pie for a long time, but I bake it at 350. It takes longer. I don't have any problems with the edges getting too dark or browning too much. It cooks perfectly. It's delicious, and if you don't have the time, then try it with a higher temperature like it calls for, but for me, I will just bake this at 350 because I have all the time in the world to bake it in. So, and when it gets all done, I will bring you a finished picture of it. Anyway, that's how I make my apple pie. I'll put it in the oven now, and we're set with that. I'll make a new video for you with the banana cream pie.